A very good morning to one and all. Here Rohini Bachwal with the science subject for the 6th standard. Student, we will begin with the first chapter, that is natural resources. Student, in the last video, we have already learned what is water cycle, what is food chain, what is the food web, what is biosphere, what is atmosphere. So students, there are mainly 6 natural resources are there. They are air, water, soil, plants, animal and mineral oils. And in this chapter we are going to see only 3, that is air, water and soil. Student, observe the picture and answer the questions. Where do we see the birds? Where is the cow grazing? Look at the trees and the road. Where does the river come from? How does it flow? Where is the aeroplane? Where are the fish seen? And on what is the sailboat floating? Student, you can see the sphere of the earth. It is in atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. Now students, you can see that some things in the pictures are in water, some on land and some in the sky. That is in the air. These all things on the earth are associated with air, water and land. Air, water and land are called the earth atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere respectively. Let us begin with the first one, that is air. The air is the atmosphere around the earth, contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, 6 inert gases, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor and dust particle. Student, you can see the proportion and percentage. Nitrogen is 78%, whereas oxygen is 21%, and argon, other constituent of air, and carbon dioxide is in very less amount. Now see students, the amount of the gases in the air is the greatest near the surface and decreases as we go higher and higher from the surface. That is, air becomes rarer at higher altitudes. Observe the diagram. You can see that exosphere to troposphere. Can you tell me students the 5 layers of the atmosphere? Yes, they are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. We also look upon these natural components in solid, liquid and gaseous form as resources. In other words, we use them to fulfill our basic needs. Now see the students' proportion of land and water. Land is 29%, whereas water it is in 71%. Let us see then what is biosphere. These living things and the parts of the lithosphere, hydrosphere, which they occupy are together called the biosphere. These spheres have formed on the earth naturally. Means the combination of atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere is known as biosphere. Now let us see then what is natural resources. Air, water and land are the factors important for sustaining the living world on the earth and for fulfilling their basic needs. They are called natural resources. Now let us move towards the uses of gases. Let us begin with the first one, nitrogen. Nitrogen helps living things to build the necessary proteins. It is useful in production of ammonia and in airtight packaging of foodstuffs. Second is oxygen. It is necessary for respiration in living things and for combustion, that is for burning. Third, carbon dioxide. Plant use it for producing their food. Argon, used in electric bulbs. Helium, used for obtaining low temperature and also for generating lift in airship. Neon, used in decorative lights and for street lighting. Krypton, used in fluorescent tubes. Always remember student, the living world on the earth is sustained due to the balance between various gases and other constituents of air. The atmosphere is a very important filter. It allows the light and heat to the sun to reach the earth. which is necessary for life. But it prevents the harmful elements from reaching the earth. So, students, do you remember what is ozone then? What is the similarities in these three pictures below? See, students, all the above picture shows large scale emission of smoke through different agencies. This smoke directly mixes with the atmosphere, disturbing the balance between the constituent of the air and generates the pollution. Harmful gases are given out through combustion of fuels in vehicle and big industries, and also through incomplete combustion of fuels like wood and coal. As a result, air pollution is increasing day by day. Harmful substances released in air through combustion of fuels. Then which are they? They are nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and soot. Now see, students, what is the ozone layer? Why it is called as the protective shell? There is a layer of ozone gas in the lower part of stratosphere. Ozone gas is not directly useful for the survival of living things, yet it is very important for living things to have this layer of ozone at a high altitude around the earth. Do you know? In metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, boards are displayed at places of heavy traffic to show the proportion of the various constituents of the air at that place. Due to these boards, we can see the amount of harmful elements in air. Let us move towards water. Try this. Observe how much water is used for what purposes it is used in your house for a whole day. Record it and complete the table. Students, you will find that it is almost impossible for us to spend even a single day without water. We need to drink 3 to 4 liters of water every day so that all our bodily functions run smoothly. Other living things also require water, although the amount of water they need may vary according to the size of their body. Thus, we say that water is very important. It is very essential. How is water formed? If hydrogen gas burn in air, it combines with oxygen and water is formed. That is, two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen give rise to water, that is H2O. Now let us move towards characteristics of water. In nature, student, water is occur in three states, that is solid, liquid and gaseous. So the characteristics are the water is colorless, it is tasteless and it is odorless. Many substances readily dissolve in water, therefore water is a universal solvent. Yes, water is life. The blood of animals and the sap in plants contains a very high proportion of water. No living thing can survive because of this water. So it is said that water is life. See, students, distribution of water on the earth, whatever available on the earth and its percentage. In the seas and in ocean, there is 97% of water is there. And in water, ice and water in other forms, it is in 2.7%, whereas fresh water is in 0.3% only. Observe and say, student, for what purpose we use water being used? Do other living things use water like we do? We use water in large quantities. We have learned that water on the earth is regulated through the water cycle. The water vapor formed from ocean is the main source of water in the water cycle. We get water from natural resources such as streams, rivers, ponds, springs and lakes. Man also digs well and bore well to lift groundwater. Apart from this, man has also constructed burns and dams of various sizes on rivers, on streams. So, do you remember our Gangapur Dam? Now, let us move towards the scarcity of water. Due to the uncontrolled use of water for an increasing population, industry, and farming, it is now in short supply. Water scarcity has become a serious problem. not only in rural areas but also in urban areas. So now student, always remember, use water sparingly means you have to use water whenever you need. Block water and let it percolate means you have to store the water. Reuse water wherever possible. Remember, stored water does not become stale at once. Let us move towards then what is a land. Can you tell what is land made of? Is land flat everywhere? What do you see on land? Does man produce soil or land? What has man created on land? If a deep pit is dug in the ground, what do you find then? See students, land is seen in the form of stones, soil, big rocks. It is not only flat everywhere, it is hilly in some places and flat in others. All terrestrial animals, including man, live on the land. What is land made of? Take a transparent plastic bottle, a handful of soil, some stones, sand, some dry leaves, and water. Cut off the upper tapering part of bottle, put the rest of the materials in the lower part and add water. Stir the mixture thoroughly and put it aside. Student, in the last year, you have done this experiment. Now see students, on the top there is a dry leaves, then is soil, then is sand, then is small stones, and at the last we have put it big stones. If the land has mature soil, the topmost layer is formed by the decomposition of the remains of plants and animal. This layer called humus. It is usually found in dense forest. See the diagram students. The topmost layer is known as humus. Then is the soil. Then is immature soil. Then layer of soil and small rocks are there. And at the last there is a bedrocks. What land is made of? The land below this is full of sand, soil, small stones, worms and insects. Soil and pieces of bedrocks are found below this layer of land. This soil is immature. Observe the diagram students. The topmost is humus, then is soil, then is immature soil, then is layer of soil and small rocks, and at the last you can see bedrocks. Further below this layer, the proportion of soil decreases and that of rock increases. This is the layer of bedrock. The main minerals in the soil are derived from these rocks. Observe the diagram student. The topmost is humus, then is soil, then is immature soil, then is layer of soil and small rocks, and at the last you can see bedrocks. Student, you have to draw these diagrams, you have to label it, and if possible you have to color it. See students, that is why soil in different regions is different. The color and the texture of soil are both determined by the bedrocks. You can see there is a different types of soil are present all around the world. The process of soil formation. The soil on the land is formed by a natural process. The abiotic components of soil are supplied through the weathering of the bedrock. Students, with all this you have to write the definitions also. The process of soil formation. Due to the heat, cold and water of the sun, wind and rain respectively, the bed rocks breaks down into pieces. Stones, sand and soil are formed from these pieces. If a pipeline is being laid in your neighborhood, observe carefully the pits dug for this purpose. You will see some layers under the land. You might have seen this kind of layers. Some terrestrial animals dig burrows in the ground for shelter. This means that they use land for fulfilling their need. We also use land for farming and for building houses and roads. We use land for many purposes. Let us move towards the process of soil formation. Microbes, worms, and insects are found among them. Rodents like mice and rats are also found here. The roots of trees growing on the land also help weathering of rocks. The process of soil formation is slow and continuous. It takes about 1,000 of year for a 2.5 centimeter thick layer of mature soil. Students, though it is a natural process, but it takes a huge time to become a mature soil. See the process of soil formation. Soil can get destroyed in a short period due to floods, storms, and other human activities such as mining. That is why it is necessary to conserve soil and to prevent erosion of land. The best remedy for this is to increase the green cover of land. That is, you have to plant the trees. Erosion of land is reduced if grass, trees, and bushes are grown in it. Means, wherever you will see the land, you have to plant the trees so that we can stop the erosion of soil. Do you know, students? Humus is the layer formed on soil due to the decomposition of dead plants and animal by microbes. Humans supplied nutrients to the soil. Humus is also important for aerating the soil and for holding water in the soil. The proportion of human in the upper layer of good fertile soil is about 33 to 50%. Now let us move towards crude oil, that is petrol, diesel, natural gas, etc. Forest on land got buried underground due to the great upheavals that took place on the earth many years ago. After that, the process of formation of fossil fuel from the remains of living things took place underground. We get fuels like petrol, diesel, kerosene, paraffin, and other useful material like tar and wax from the fossil fuel called crude oil. Look at the following table, student. Even in this small proportion, the resources shown in the table are sufficient for all living things. You can see that land it is in 29%, fresh water it is in 0.3%, oxygen is in 21%. Only it is very necessary for man to control his grid. In other words, he must use these resources judiciously with the awareness that they are meant for all other living things and not just for greedy purpose. Institute of Work. India Meteorological Department, that is IMD, was established in 1875 for studying the weather in the Indian subcontinent. The main function of this institute is to observe the weather and to make weather forecasts. This institute also conducts research related to changes in weather, makes forecasts about trends, and studies the development related to global warming. Now, students, what we have learned? The elements available in nature which fulfill the basic needs of living things are called natural resources. We have seen air, water, and land are very important natural resources. We have also seen soil has both biotic and abiotic constituent. There are many constituents of air such as nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, inner gases, water vapor, and dust particles. The ozone layer is a protective shell of the earth, and at last, natural resources should be used carefully and sparingly. Student, we have finished this chapter here. You have to write the difficult words 5 times and the definition 3 times. If possible, you have to make 10 questions. Thank you, students.